Hi guys, today I will be reviewing Wreckfest. Now this game is one that's been in beta for, I don't know, quite a few years even. I am a fan of racing games, as you will probably see from my channel, but I also really enjoy a bit of banger racing. So I really enjoy the banger racing culture. Destruction Derby series was one of my favourites. I mean, you had your Demolition Racer, which I've already reviewed. Check the classic game reviews. But generally, you know, this kind of wreck racing has not been a particularly successful genre, although there is a lot of people who enjoy this kind of thing.
You see, this is a hell-raising, death-chasing, hope-smashing and dream-crashing life, and it won't take no prisoners.
So, here we go, you know, a game with full contact, and just like in Destruction Derby, you can be rewarded for taking out opponents. So let's just read what the blurb about the game is on the store page. Break the rules and take full contact racing to the limit with Wreckfest. Expect epic crashes, neck-to-neck fights over the finish line, and brand new ways for metal to bend. These are the once-in-a-lifetime moments that can only be achieved in Wreckfest, with its true-to-life physics simulation crafted by legendary developer Bugbear, who also brought you Flat Out 1 and 2. Burn rubber and shred metal in the ultimate driving playground. So, number one, the graphics. In this kind of game, it's very important to have a reasonable damage model. I mean, the visual damage as well as how the car drives, the visual damage is very important. In this case, it's been done very carefully. I mean, they've worked with a lot of polygons to make the damage model, you know, inch perfect. So really, this damage model is something to be excited about. It's really fun to see the cars getting sort of crumpled up to ridiculous lengths before blowing up. It has a lot of, as you'd say, bang for your buck. There's some good thrills, and it's a game that you can kind of just pick up like on the fly. It doesn't require deep thought or hours and hours of time. It's a bit almost like Quake 3 Arena in that respect. I actually knew a man who used to play that on his lunch break at my work. So the one complaint I might have with the visuals is not so much the visuals themselves, which are very good. You know, the rusted paintwork. The numbers that are drawn on the side of the cars look just like the stock cars that I used to go and watch at Wimbledon. So that's all very good. The only bad thing I would say is the frame rate was like treacle to begin with, before I kind of tweaked it a little bit. Now it works okay, but I think probably some people are going to have frame rate issues here. Hopefully that can be resolved in a coming patch. So this game was in development for a very long time, and it only recently has been released for PC, along with a console port for both PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So they have stepped it up a gear, excuse the pun. There are, as I said, there's a few little bugs. One of the things that I find a little bit irritating is that if you go in car, you can't see your hands on the steering wheel. The steering wheel just sort of moves by itself. I don't know why they need to do that. And also, the challenges in the game are sometimes too difficult. So, for example, in the one-player mode, you have to dock a certain amount. You have to score a certain amount of points to move up into the next league. Very much similar to the Dirt series. In fact, as far as I can see, they have probably bought some of the GUI directly from Codemasters. As you will see, it is very, very similar to, I think it was it's either Dirt 4 or Dirt Rally, possibly both, but one of them, it's the spit. They've obviously bought that GUI. But that is the problem, that sometimes, like on the Dirt game, you could win at each tier. You could win a couple of races and then you move up. Whereas at this game, it seems to keep you at the beginner league until you have 100% of the points available, which is a little bit harsh. I mean, it means that you have to play certain levels that don't interest you as much as others. Yes, so to comment on the physics of this game, I think they've done a really good job. I think having the game released as beta a few years back, and all that time they've been able to tweak it. Bugbear have been tweaking and making little adjustments. I think they've got it really well. When I first played this game, the handling was a little bit tricky, but now it's much like playing a rally game. Most of the tracks are mud or dirt with a little bit of road thrown in for good measure. Another thing I really like is that this is like the Red Faction of driving games, or the Battlefield Bad Company. One of those games where you can pretty much blow up everything in the environment. In this case, you can pretty much take it all out with your car or your combine harvester, whichever you prefer. So yeah, I mean, this game has a lot of potential. That leads me on nicely to variety in this game. There is a lot of variety to keep things fresh. You have the classic Destruction Arena mode, which you will probably remember from Destruction Derby way back when. Yeah, that is a fun mode, although it's flawed in a way because you tend to win if you just drive around the outside, trying to avoid any contact. The other modes tend to be racing or head-to-heads. There's a few different little modes, and it keeps it varied because there's different classes of vehicle. The lawnmower races in particular are quite amusing. So yeah, I think at the core of this game is an enjoyable demolition racer. It definitely brings back a few memories of Destruction Derby. The multiplayer's good. There are plenty of potential for mods on the game, including the skin of the car and tracks, etc. It does just still lack a little bit of polish. I guess that's sort of symptomatic of a game that's been in beta for a very long time. But given that little ironing out of some of the creases, and some which I will have forgotten that people will be saying in the forums, if they can amend those things, then this is going to be a very enjoyable, a very popular, I imagine, game. Racing games online, often you'll be getting really frustrated with idiots who will just drive straight into the back of you. So in this, at least, it's actually not considered a bad thing, not a faux pas to drive into someone, because it's a banger race. So in a way, it's a bit of a level in this game. So I'm going to, at the moment, call this an 8 out of 10. It does just lack a bit of polish, and they really kind of need to look at those flaws, because they have done a brilliant job to bring this game as a AAA title and with console ports, but there are just still a few little glitches. So enjoy the game, folks, and enjoy some of the summer sun, boy.